Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome the incredible, the amazing Dr. Pastor Mrs. Ibukun Awosika. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Please be seated. Thank you very much. My pleasure on behalf of all of us, as you've seen. Those were fun days, as you can see. We still fool around quite a bit, never get old. We were basically in our 30s, and the oldest ones were in their 40s. They were in their early 40s, actually. Mobile and I were the youngest of the group, and we were both about 37, 38. I'm older than her by 6 months. Never let her forget it, so always proud to tell her. And luckily for me, it's between 1 year, I'm December of 1 year, she's June of the next year, so she can never survive it. So we're always competing. And she was the first chair and I was the second chair, which was the joke of it all, But the amazing thing was, we were at this stage of our lives. We were smart, ambitious girls. We wanted to do great things. We were all in either great careers or building great businesses. We lived in an environment that told us what we couldn't do. We watched many women, capped, limited. And, somewhere along the line, you've watched part of the story. We all thought, you know what? The only way this thing changes is that we change it. Now, I can remember every voice that told us we were crazy. It will never happen. We're all too ambitious to work together. We will fight each other. We will work against each other. It was all of those things. But the interesting thing was we were smart enough also to know that we could not afford not to make it work. And therefore, we said to ourselves, whatever happens here, we must deliver on this assignment. And we had rules. If we call a meeting and 5 people turn up, whatever decision the 5 make, binding on all of us. You don't show up, you shut up. End of story. No, there were simple ways we ensured that we didn't get into the traps that were expected of us. And we were determined it will work. We put in our money, because for a long time till of recent Ansatu, we had to donate every year to WIMBIZ. And in the early days, it was a lot of money from all of us. And then we started, people started realizing we were serious about the mission. And we didn't give up on it. No matter how discouraging it seemed, we were focused on it. If you gave us a problem, we applied our brain to find a solution. When they told us there were no girls to serve on boards, we said, no problem. How did we know the problems? We would have CEO breakfast session, all men, invite them there. Then ask them, tell us why you do not have the women on your boards. And they'll give us all their reasons. We didn't argue about whether the reasons were right or wrong. We just set to work to correct the problems. So we knew the girls were smart. They had the technical ability. But see, till now, technical ability will never get you what you want. It takes you to the door. But to get in, there's a lot more that you need. So what we then did was to say, okay, what is missing? We determined what was missing, and we set the goals. The theme and the sessions for each year was to fill the gaps that we were told existed. And we communicated our determination to the other women who followed us, who came to the sessions believing along with us. We carried a community along. We didn't want a membership organization. Now we have the associate membership only after a lot of pressure. But in those days, we wanted the flexibility to make decisions. We wanted the flexibility to move without the hindrance of elections. We didn't have elections, so to speak. Each time we were going to change leadership amongst us, we looked at where we were and who was the most suited to take us through the next season. That's how we decided who would lead amongst us. Amongst the 13 of us, we considered that and we made the decision. And we always thought about the community we were trying to build. Interestingly, as we did that, we individually, personally, we all grew. And amongst us as a team, many of us ourselves have been first of many things across many areas, breaking boundaries, breaking barriers, but never forgetting that we're on assignment. You know, as I listened to all the first, I thought about, becoming the first female chair of First Bank after 122 years of the institution. It wasn't for the clap. It's to bring out the most important information for me. When I joined the board, I was in my 40s. I was in my late 40s. If you go into First Bank boardroom, they have like this very power room. And on the wall, there are pictures from the beginning to the end of all the chairmen from 18-something, from the white men to the big Barbariga men and all of that. Sorry for the non-Nigerian. You know what? The big Agbada men. They always had to be big men, all the way to the end. And I would look at it, and I always sat on the side that faced that wall when I joined the board, and I would look at it and say, gosh, one day there will be a girl on this wall. I didn't know it was going to be me. And the beauty of it was, when it then did happen against all odds, and at a much earlier age than they'd ever had for any chairman, the weight of the responsibility was a key driver of my vision. It was important to me, even on the most challenging days, that I was keeping a seat for others, that the seat was not mine. I remember how many airport walks, function walks, when elderly Nigerian women would stop me somewhere. Joy Ibukun, where can't you? Yes, ma. And they'll come and they'll hug you really tight. And they would pray from their heart and say, we're praying for you because we waited for this day to come. And I realized I was only a carrier of their vision and their ambition of many years. Many of them had probably worked in multiple corporates at different levels and aspired and hoped for the days that this generation of women would hold those positions, those offices, and take over rooms that had always been locked to women. Now, when you experience that, you don't sit in those places and think it's about you. You will fight every battle, knowing that the way you fight that battle is how you preserve or destroy the seat or the room for the generation for whom you sat. That was my everyday mindset. There are days I thought, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. Because you see, the thing about being a first, especially in a very patriarchal environment, it's a battlefront, especially when you want to be a game changer. You will fight battles. But guess what? That's not the message. Limitless, embrace the infinite. What does that even mean? It means as far as you go is as far as you can dream to go. Nothing, no matter how difficult it looks, can stop you from getting to anywhere you want to go. I came in last night I think I got to my flat in London about 1 a.m. last night. I'd been in Malaga for the last 3 days. Having become the vice chair of the Global Steering Group for Impact Investing, which was announced at the conference. And what I can say to you is this: there are no limits on you. There are no doors that are tight enough you can't open them. There isn't a cap. I know we talk about our skin color and we talk about our gender, but guess what? The solution to both is how you work and how you think. That is the truth. It's what you do in the first minute of the first opportunity. It's how you work the doors that are opened a little for you to walk through. It's how you show up. It's what you do when you show up. It's how you remember that when you show up, it's not for one day. That when you show up, you have to show up knowing you're building a legacy for a generation. And therefore, when you do that, it matters how you do it. Your values are key. You might be the most beautiful woman in the room. That's good for walking through and making others appreciate you. Enjoy your beauty, and you should. Rock your clothes and be beautiful every minute of it. But never forget, it's in what you say, how smart it sounds, how effective and productive it is, and how dedicated you are to the assignment. But the beauty of it is you can be both beautiful and smart at the same time. So don't ever let anybody sell you a fake lemon. Don't play the girl card, because people see through it very easily. Be every inch a girl. I love being a girl. I love jewelry. I love colors. I can never be masculine. I'm totally a rebel when it comes to stuff like that. I remember on some days they would tell us at the bank, oh, we're taking the picture for the AGM, for the annual report. Okay, everybody come in a, no. They always say in, what do they call them? I don't even know what the corporate colors are. In a subtle, what do you call the mild, the pale pastel colors. So I'm always quick to say, that's for the guys. I'm your touch of color. I am never obeying those rules. I come in my own color because I think women were meant to add sunshine to the world. So, and you know one other thing why I like to be girly on a professional front? I've found too many girls who think being successful as a female means you need to become like a man. Just the thought of it. I wouldn't want to be a man, but I'm smart, period. You know, I remember Mobola Johnson, the day she became the managing director of Accenture. Dr. Suleiman was stepping down, and he was handing over to Mobola. And at we were having a cocktail event in honor of her. And one of her colleagues came up and said, oh, the best man got the job. So I got up and, luckily I was speaking next. So I got up and said, I'm sorry, but the best woman got the job, not by being a man. That you can look at Omobola, she's every inch a woman. It's hard to make her look like a man. She's delicate, she's fragile, she's beautiful, but she's extremely smart. And she got the job because she was the best person for it. And we must be comfortable in our skin. We must be fun, we must be colorful, but we must remember, one girl's victory has to be every girl's victory. And the way every girl's victory becomes one girl's victory is in our collaboration and in our true sisterhood. When I challenged the Oja girls to become Oja, they were friends, they were working together. But my personal rule for life is anything you know, you share. That's my rule. It's my approach to life. I don't believe in holding anything back. Why? Dead people don't do anything with their life story. No, it's true. People tell me, why do you share so much of your life? I'm like, of what value is it when I die? If it's going to help someone else to be better, then I share. And I build platforms for sharing. So I encourage others too. And that's why I could encourage the Oja girls that, look, you've created something that works. I hope you realize you can't sit on it. Go and help some other young women in the UK to find how to be the best of themselves in a cold environment. And that's what they're doing. And you know, there's nothing more satisfying and pleasurable than watching others become because you helped to facilitate one way or the other. They can't pay you money for that. So what do I want to leave with you? There's absolutely nothing you cannot do. Just know that. I want you to understand that when you show up well, the world would look for you. You will not look for the world. This is the truth. And whatever it is that you do, make it a habit to be excellent in it, even as you make sure that your values are unquestioned, and that you can stand. My whole First Bank battle was public, but my victory is also public. Why? Because when you do the right things all of the time, even in the midst of the trials, the things you do right, your legacy would speak for you. See, every day you meet people in your journey. The people you meet will be waiting for you at a door. They will either speak for you or they will speak against you. I'll finish with this story. So, in the middle of going through a First Bank scenario, I was in the process. I'd just been asked to be chair of the National Advisory Board for Impact Investing for Nigeria. Now, the National Advisory Board for Impact Investing is part of the global body, which is the GSG Impact Investing, which was a G7 set-up organization and incorporates multiple countries from around the world. And part of their process is to do a full due diligence run from here across the world on you. So at a stage, the CEO of the GSG, a British guy, called me and said, "Oh, Ibukun, we have a challenge." And I said, "What?" "Oh, we have a red flag." I said, "Okay." He said, "And the red flag is on you." I'm like, "Okay, really?" And he went on. "Of course, you can use your money to buy media and write anything you want, but you don't get to determine what the truth is." Now, I'm telling you this because I want you to know, for women to be limitless and be infinite in the opportunities you work, watch your values. Don't toy with it, and do not do anyhow, thinking it won't matter. It will, on the day you do not expect. So we had a conversation. He asked me all the questions in the world, and I answered. And he said, "Okay, the board has set up a committee to do this until," this was October, "our next board meeting is December. We will go through all of this, and when the process is completed, we'll let you know." I said, "Fine." I was angry when I finished. I was very angry in my spirit. And my youngest son, he was 19 at the time, he came to me and he said, "Mom, what's wrong?" So I explained to him. He said, "Don't worry, Mommy. It's okay." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you see, they think they know you, but when they finish this process, they will really know you." He said, "And when they really know you, it will work in your favor." From a child. I said, "Eh." He said, "Yes, Mommy." And then, no, I think it was just God speaking through a child to me at that moment. So I said, "Okay." And we left it. I got busy, got through the being annoyed and being upset, forgot about it, and went on with my life. 3 months after, that CEO calls me again from England and says, "Oh, Ibukun, we had a board meeting yesterday. It was the 8th of December. And the board has approved for you to continue as the chair." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes." And I remember that when they started their own process, they apparently spoke to someone first who called me and said, "I think they're going to speak to this person next. You know the person. Why don't you speak to the person?" I said, "I will never speak to anyone." I said, "If God isn't able to defend the truth, then there's nothing I'm going to do." And I sat back. So when they came back, so what is the essence of that? Don't build your life or hope on individuals. Don't be dependent. You want to be unlimited? You better build values and build the right way. Because if you are banking on people, they will fail you. So I said, "No, I'm not doing that. That if God can't take care of this, then it's too bad." And so when he came back and said, "This is what has happened," I smiled. I said, "Thank you." Anyway, January of that year, they inaugurated the Nigerian board. In July of that year, which was last year, the global chairman calls me, sets up a virtual meeting, and says, "We have 2 asks." I said, "What is that?" He said, "We have 3 vacancies on the board, on the global board, and everybody agrees they would like you to have one of the slots." I smiled. From being checked on months before to now wanting me to move from the national board to the global board. He smiled. He said, then next question, we're setting up another board for this with Harvard and would like you to be on that board. I'm sorry we're asking you for two things at the same time. I smiled. Then he said, one last question, Ibukun. Tell me, what's responsible for your value system? He said, I know you're a woman of faith, but I'm just curious. So we had a conversation. Anyway, that became history. So in December, this last December, I joined the global board. And then a few weeks ago, I got an email from the new, in May we changed chair at the global level. And the new global chair sent me a message, says, the current vice chairman, who is CEO of the British Investment Institution, is retiring. And you're my first choice to be vice chair. No, it's not. See, I always find clapping distracting, because I don't want you to miss the point. I'm not sharing the story for any clap. It's because if you want to go far and be unlimited, it's a block you build every day. It's in your trail. It's in the things you do every day. It's in how you do it. It's in the values you follow. And why is this important? Because we live in an environment where we're encouraged to do things anyhow. Because we live in an environment where we think we can get away with doing it anyhow. Where we think it doesn't matter because the environment tells us it doesn't. However, for you as a woman, it's even more important. And for you to be unlimited, Nigeria has a boundary. But your opportunities and your career has no boundary. And if you play with the same standards, no matter where you are, then there will be no boundaries for you for where you can play. Why? The truth is the truth everywhere except in Trump world. And we can build for the long term. No caps, no limits. Nothing that you cannot do. Age is nothing. Young or old. I started very young, so I know the weight of the time I was too young. And then at this stage, I don't even remember what age is. I just know that I'm going to work till I cannot work anymore. Because life isn't worth anything if it's not creating value. WIMBIZ is a vision. But at the right time, we knew it was bigger than us. And when we got to the 10, 12-year mark, we handed it over and see what the next generation has done with this. Don't die with things that you shouldn't die with. Thank you.
Is that all you can do, ladies? Beyond amazing. Nuggets were dropped here. Bombs, boom, were going off.